I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sword. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you all. I'm sure most of you watching, it's Tuesday morning by now. Hope you all had a nice Monday. I had a good one, 2-1. Really could have been 3-0 too. I had over 8.5 in the Rays Orioles. That was my loss, and it was 7-1 in the 5th inning. So I just needed one more run, and they went scoreless in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and the top of the 9th. So damn, felt like I could have went 3-0, but I'll take a profitable day. I think Spoon might join us. So Trevor just woke up about 3 minutes before we were supposed to go live. He hopped in the stream. He was like, I fell asleep. I don't have any research done. And I was like, don't worry, man. Just you could skip it. I texted Spoon. I think Spoon might join us at some point. So if Spoon makes it, we'll add him on. I gave Spoon about 6 minutes notice. So we'll see if he's able to make it work. First up, I'm close to placing this bet. I kind of like the Marlins to win this game. I know. So
that wasn't towards you. Sorry.
No. I made that face myself. Now the Phillies did come through for me today at the Phillies money line.
Good job, world.
It was sometimes bad bets win, man. I got a -130 that closed at a pick. That is not a good bet.
Trust me, dude. Your day is the definition of my year. You got the Phillies and the Nationals team total under. I don't get the under in my first 5 in the Nationals game, and I lose the Marlins. It's just the definition of how the cookie crumbles.
Looks like you're gonna have a winning day though. Still,
correct.
But anyway, so first of all, the Marlins, this not a lineup we perceive to be strong, but they actually do have some nice looking numbers against lefty bats. They're actually, let me pull this up. So. Surprising. I had to double check this because I was like, there's no way that's right. But check this out. Look at the Marlins against lefties here. Last 30 days, they're 12th in WRC+, 4th in WRC+ in the last 14 days. If you look at the lefties they've seen, 9 base runners against Mackenzie Gore. That's a 150 whip against an elite lefty. You'll take that. They smacked Mitchell Parker. Didn't really do much on Bailey Falter or Kyle Freeland and then Robbie Ray. So, they really didn't get to this group of lefty starters right here. But the last 2 lefty starters they saw, they made some noise against. And they're seeing left-handed pitching somewhat well. I'll say that. Now, I know Jesus Luzardo has been pretty solid this year, but lately he hasn't been. And I'm wondering if there's some kind of an emotional edge here for Marlins faithful. You got Luzardo returning to the city. Now, for those of you that are newer to baseball, so Luzardo came up with the Marlins. He went to Philadelphia from the Marlins. And rewind back to, I want to say 2022, Luzardo at home in Miami was bet on. He was nice at home. That was not the case his last year there. He was dealing with some injuries, but he was actually not pitching well at home. So his recent memories of this city are not great. I kind of think the Marlins are going to touch him up a little bit. The city of Miami, some revenge here. And look, we got the win with the Phillies, but let's not pretend that actually, you know what? They did make a lot of hard contact. They were ripping.
I was going to say, I wouldn't shortchange yourself.
No.
I was talking shit, but yeah. That was...
Yeah, no, there was a few foul balls where I was like, damn, that was 8 inches from a double. So Cal Quantrill, you know what Toast is going to say? He's going to give us 4 strong. And you know what? That's another thing. On top of, I think there's a little bit of emotion here on the Miami side. On top of that, there's not many games where the Marlins might have the advantage in the late innings, but this might be one of them. Probably not going to see Romano. He's pitched on back-to-back days. Strom's gotten 2 of the last 3 through 18 tonight. I think Strom will be available. I think Kirkring will be available, but they are a little bit on the tax side. Meanwhile, Miami saved their main 3 guys, Foucher, Bender, Enriquez. And look, the Marlins bullpen is not good, but these 3 guys right here have not been bad at all. So if this game gets to the 7th and Miami does have a lead, I think they're in position to close it out. They should also be able to score some runs on the rag arms for Philadelphia. I didn't bet this yet, but I think the Fish can steal this one, man.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate that at all. I wouldn't mind like a Miami plus 1.5 either. Again, not a bet that I am going to make, but if we're looking at just trying to find ways to approach this game, I don't hate that either. Philadelphia, to me, regardless of how they've looked over the last couple games, I mean, I guess going back a week or so, that they looked really good in that homestand versus the Cubs and the Blue Jays. Again, and I was talking a little bit of trash to Sauce about the world being on the Phillies today and getting it, but they did make some hard contact and stuff today, but they still only put up 3 runs. And on top of that, I just don't trust this offense on the road. You keep in mind before that homestand where they didn't have the security of the nice weather and just being at home in the bank. I mean, they looked lifeless against Pittsburgh. They kind of looked lifeless against Toronto as well. And Sauce is right. I'm going to come on here and say Cal Quantrill is going to give you 4 or 5 innings of 1 or 2 run baseball. I know that he came out his last start and gave up 4 to Pittsburgh and killed us, but I mean his last 4 starts at home. I mean the Dodgers, he went 5 innings, 1 run. The Rays 5 innings, 1 run. The Giants 5 innings, 2 runs. In Colorado 5 innings, 2 runs. I mean all 3 of those 4 teams are solid, essentially really good baseball teams right now. So I trust Cal to pitch well at home. So it would only be Miami. I actually don't mind a first 5 under either. I don't know if I can get there with Miami smacking up Luzardo, only because I don't know if he's really as bad as what we saw before. We'll definitely find out. But again, I did want to point out, though, that Luzardo very good against lefty bats, very bad against righty bats. Miami's going to have to Sauce's bet point 8 righties in that lineup tomorrow. So I don't know if they actually get to him like Sauce might think that they do, but I think if they can scrape 2 or 3 across against him if he goes say 6 innings, if they score 2 or 3 runs, I think that's at least a coin flip in this game later on. So I don't hate Miami, or I don't really hate an under either, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, Spoon made it. I actually sent Spoon the wrong link, so
he's been waiting.
Yeah, he has been waiting. He was ready to go, and I sent him the wrong link. So hold on, let's get Spoon on. And 1 second, set the screen up. All right, Spoon. First of all, shout out for coming on short notice. Appreciate it. Think the show appreciates it as well. So I just bet Marlins money line at plus 170. What are your thoughts?
I like when a pitcher goes to face his ex-organization. I think that organization probably has a book on him more than just about the other 29 do. And I don't know, Miami's bats, like Toast was just saying, match up pretty favorably against Luzardo. I don't know if I'm ballsy enough to take the money line with the money in my wallet, but the 1.5, you can put me on the board for that. I do like that. I've been on the Phillies. I like this team. I think we're eventually going to get the news that Harper's coming back and everybody's going to really get on that. But until that happens, I don't know. Philly's not a team I'm going to continue to try to back.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, if it's announced that Harper's coming back tomorrow, probably lose value. We'll see. So real quick. All right, we've got Pirates, Detroit. Obviously, you guys know I'm not crazy about laying the minus 1.5 with a home team, but I do think this might be a spot to consider it. I've been very vocal about how I think the Tigers' bats are trending in the wrong direction. It's more so against right-handed pitching. Surprising to see their numbers against lefties are pretty good. And I think it was Spoon. Maybe it wasn't Spoon. Someone was on the show saying they expect Bailey Falter to come back down to earth in the second half of the season. Might not have been Spoon. Was that you, Spoon, that said that?
No, that sounds like something I'd say. I'm not a big Bailey Falter guy.
Yeah, I forget who was saying, but I agreed with that person. I don't think Bailey Falter's as good as his numbers on the season indicate. I know that he's been pitching great. Phillies touched him up 2 starts ago, though. And like I said, Tigers against lefties. I mean, how do you argue with these numbers? This is like crazy right here. Tigers against lefties. Like the best lineup in baseball. In the last 30 days, they're second in WRC+, first in the last 14 days. If you take a look at the lefty starters that they've seen, crushed Kate Povich. Actually didn't touch Bubic, but they crushed Logan Allen. 9 hits. Newcomb actually pitched somewhat okay, but they had 9 hits off him. So I trust the Tigers against lefties a little bit. It's actually really nice weather in Detroit here. It's supposed to be, I forget what the red sun means, but it means it's good for scoring runs. Humid, maybe, whatever that means. I'll ballpark, pal. So I like the Tigers to score. Casey Mize has been great. I'm not betting this because I don't like laying the -1.5 with the home team, but I think this is a spot for the Tigers to win comfortably personally. Spoon, agree, disagree?
Yeah, so it's going to be in the 80s, high 80s tomorrow. So that's probably what that red means there in ballpark, pal.
It is.
I like the Tigers bats here. Bailey Falter has reverse splits there with the lefties, though, where the lefties get to him harder. I don't know. I really think that Detroit's got a good shot to win this game. I don't know if I want to pay this price though, and I don't want to lay 1.5 at home with this team right now. You could put me on the board for -1, but that 1.5 is too much for me. Casey Mize, I also think, is a pitcher that's going to be hit the more times he gets seen by these teams, and this is a Pirates team that's not seen him this year, but did see him last year, and I think this is a spot where maybe he could be a little bit vulnerable too. I'm not going to bet this game.
Yeah, I kind of feel similarly. Now, this is kind of crazy to us. So we're polling right now. 50 people have voted. 52% on the Tigers, 30% on the under. So legitimately, there's a ton of people watching this right now that are clicking under 8.5. I actually leaned over, to be honest. I think the Tigers are going to score 6 or 7.
Yeah, Tigers -1.5 plus 108 on DraftKings. I mean, you guys glossed over the Tiger bats, but I mean, you guys negated to give some Casey Mize some credit. I mean, this guy has been an absolute animal at home this year. I mean, a 1.5 ER, 1.54 ERA, a whip just over 1. I mean, he's getting guys to induce a whole bunch of chases, John would like to say. This Pirates offense, I mean, I don't have to go into detail about how bad this Pirates offense is. And on top of that, I mean, this Tigers team, like, I mean, I guess Sauce already mentioned, I don't have to go into it anymore, but this Tigers team versus lefties, versus left-handed pitching has been dominant. Falter, a 356 WOBA versus lefties, over a 5 xFIP against lefties. I mean, it's just absolutely terrible. So, and not to mention the Tigers had the day off yesterday, so they're going to have a full bullpen behind him. I mean, not to mention the fact that all the bats in the Pirates lineup that I worry about, like O'Neal Cruz, and I mean, Brian Reynolds is a switch, but I mean, guys like Spencer Horwitz, who have been somewhat decent and like stuff, are all lefty bats who are, I mean, that's what Mize is better against. So if guys like McCutchen or Joey Bart beat me, so be it. But I think the Tigers win this game comfortably.
All right, let's move on. I'm not betting that. I'll be rooting for you. Can't believe that many people are voting the under. Oh, yeah,
I was going to say, I would just bet the Pirates if I was you.
Rockies, Nats. The Rockies have been hitting. They don't have enough lefties to make me really put a lot of faith in them here against Soroka, who really struggles with lefties. I don't know. I think this one comes down to a simple question. Are you buying what the Rockies are doing offensively? We know they're the worst team in baseball, but, I mean, this is Major League Baseball. It's a 162-game season. Every single lineup is going to get hot throughout the year. So it's not crazy to think that the Rockies bats might be hot right now. Really want to give them a shout-out for winning that game in the top of the 9th, securing my Nats team total under. That was awesome. I think the Nationals win the game. That's not really telling you much. They're a -200 favorite. Here's the thing, and I'm sure one of these guys, I'm sure Toast is probably about to talk about this. Sensatella has terrible numbers against lefties. Awful numbers against lefties, and the Nats are loaded with lefties. So, I mean, it's a terrible matchup. He can't get lefties out. The Nats have like 8 lefties in the order. It's truly terrible. But I think you can go ahead and talk, Toast, but I think you also need to mention that the Nats are not hitting, period.
Sensatella's bad. I mean, I guess it would only be over or Rockies. I mean, I don't really want to play 9.5. You can play or Rockies team total over 3.5. Just put me up for the over 9.5. I'm not going to bet this because, like what Kyle said, it's just really hard to trust these Nats bats. I mean, they have just been absolutely terrible for a really long time now. And you're right. Sensatella is absolutely terrible, and he's terrible versus lefties. Guess what? He's terrible versus righties too. So I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of if you trust the Nationals or not to score some runs. So every start besides one start at home against the Mets, Sensatella's given up 4 runs. Or sorry, one home start against the Nationals, one home start against the Mets. Besides that, it's 5 innings of 4-run baseball for him. So again, not that I trust this Nats lineup, but it's hard to believe they don't scrape a couple against him. And then as far as Soroka is concerned, just an average arm for me. I
He's
think
not
that
bad, dude. He's not that bad.
Yeah, he's not that. Again, my point is that he's going to give you 5 innings of 2 or 3 run baseball, and if you get that from him, that's like a successful, really good start for him. So, I mean, if he gives up his typical 2 or 3, and Washington can scrape together 2 or 3, and we're looking at a 3-3, 4-4 game in the 6th or 7th inning, I think this game ends up being going over. Obviously, do I actually end up betting it? Probably not.
I kind of disagree. I mean, I'm not betting it or anything, but I was actually considering an under or a Rockies team total under. I know 9.5. I think Soroka's actually going to pitch a gem here. I think Soroka's going to pitch really well, and as bad as Sensatella is, the Nationals lineup might be worse right now. This is the worst lineup in baseball in the last 14 days. They're dead last in WRC plus, dead last in OPS, dead last. You know what? I want you to visualize it. I want you to actually see it with your own eyes here. Last 14 days, 30s across the board against right-handed pitching. Last 14 days, 30s across the board. At home, last 30 days, bottom 5 line. I mean, they don't hit at home. They don't hit righties. They're not hitting anybody right now. So just 9.5 seems like a crazy high number. The reason I can't bet is the weather's also beautiful. Spoon?
Yeah.
I think the Nationals are going to take care of business tomorrow. Senzatella is just the recipe for success for them. Ballpark Pal has this as the most offensive park on the board tomorrow. This isn't a bet I'm going to make either. This is a game I'm going to try to avoid, but I think the Nationals -1.5 would be the spot. It's been cool to see the Rockies bats get a little bit hot, but I think Soroka's a really good pitcher, and I think he'll be able to set this Rockies lineup down.
I agree. By the way, mine would be under or Nats in some way, maybe a Rockies team. I don't think the Rockies are going to hit. That's kind of where I'm at.
Well, if you guys feel that way, you got to play team total under. You can't lay -200 or -1.5 with a home team that's 7-13 their last 20, 1-9 their last 10. Sorry. 1-10 their last 11, including today.
No, I get that, but if I think the Rockies might finish the game with 1 or 2 runs on the board, and it's Senzatella.
Yeah, and a Rockies team total under 3.5 at +114 is better than Nationals.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Nationals.
No, I know. I was agreeing. I was just getting Creighton's. Sorry, my bad.
Speaking of ice cold lineups, this is like.
Womp, womp, womp.
Where you at? Where you at, Estot? So I believe the Yankees have 6 combined runs in their last 6 games or something. It's actually crazy. It's a small sample size. You can't just declare the lineup dead based on like 5 games, but it's a little concerning. I have no freaking idea how to bet this game because there's no chance in hell I would trust Kyle Hendricks to pitch well in Yankee Stadium. But at the same time, like based on the last 5 days, I'm not really sure how I feel about the Yankees lineup right now. And this is really expensive. So this is kind of a straight pass for me. Yeah. Toast?
Easiest pass on the board for me. Do I think that the Yankees win this game easily? Yeah. Do I want to pay -115 to see it? Absolutely not. So, yes, the Yankees have been very, very cold. Tonight was a really bad spot for them. And obviously they looked really bad. Now another night at home. I think with Hendricks on the mound is a recipe for success against them. Again, you can't, for me, in my opinion, you can't put your money on that until you actually see it happen. But yeah, it would only be like that. And Will Warren has been kind of shaky 2 of his last 3 starts. I don't really put too much into that, just for the record. I mean, on the road against the Dodgers, it is what it is. And then he goes right back. I mean, keeping in mind, this kid's a young kid. And then he goes and faces Boston at home. And Boston has just owned the Yankees this year. So I just don't really put too much into that. He looked really good on the road in Kansas City. It's hard to believe he doesn't pitch well tomorrow.
What do you think, Spoon?
I think this is an Angels plus 1.5 spot. I think Kyle Hendricks can kind of silence or continue to silence this New York lineup. He's a soft tosser. This is not necessarily the kind of lineup they hit well. They hit hard throwing fastballs much better. That's what they're built for. You don't see a lot of Kyle Hendricks types on the mound anymore. Will Warren on the other side, he pitched really well against Kansas City his last time out, but he's shown the ability to get hit up. 4 runs to Boston, 7 to the Dodgers. And the Angels aren't on that level, but they are the number 1 team in baseball on the road with their bats over the last 30 days. And I think they can continue to do that. Obviously, today the bats didn't show up that well, but I think that's just all the more reason that they will show up tomorrow. I think that's a ridiculous price to pay for Will Warren, especially with the way the Yankees bats are swinging right now. This is Angels plus 1.5. I think you can get at plus money. That's where I'd be at right now. I have not bet this game, though.
Yeah, I see a plus 105 you can get for that. I mean, I agree that based on the last handful of games, it would only be Angels. In fact, like I think at plus 210, it's worth just throwing a few dollars down on the off chance that the Yankees are still cold. I mean, so that's a really expensive price. I could see if it was like Max Fried on the mound, but with Warren,
they also
have no Weaver available for the Yanks. Wait. I looked at the bullpens for this one. Oh yeah. Oh yes. No Weaver because he's hurt. Yeah, I thought you meant he's. But yeah, other than that, they're probably not going to have Loizaga. But both bullpens should have everyone. No Jansen for the Angels though, so they'll be missing someone. Diamondbacks, Blue Jays. So is that little run over for Toronto here, Spoon?
I think that run is over. But one thing we need to consider is your magic roof is back in play because we're in Toronto tomorrow.
This stupid ass roof, man.
I was trying to get any official thing on it. I see Ballpark Pal has it projected close. Just based on the weather I see and everything, I'm going to expect this is open. If you're in Toronto showing up to the park tomorrow, the weather looks pretty nice. 75 degrees, partly cloudy at the start of the game. They have the ability to shut the roof, but I would expect this just to be open. So I think with these two offenses, I think this over is live. Like I said, I do think the Blue Jays hot streak where they can't lose a game is over. And I think these Arizona bats really match up well with Chris Bassett. He's got a 1.5 whip versus lefties on the season. I think all the lefties in this Diamondbacks lineup can really get to him. Brendan Pfaadt on the other side, I think he's a guy that Washington game, he was really tipping his pitches, and it's really hard to get on top of that. The Atlanta game, he didn't look that sharp, but versus Seattle, he looked pretty decent. And I don't know where he's at mind-wise in the season, but I still think these Blue Jay bats can probably get 2 or 3 runs off him. If that happens, Diamondbacks get me 4. I don't see how we don't get to this over. I haven't officially bet it yet, but I really like this over. I'd like to see how that roof comes into play.
Yeah, if the roof is open, I'll bet this right here.
I don't think it's going to be open. It's not even going to be 70 degrees, barely. It's like 70, 75. I have a hard time believing it's going to be open.
So if the roof's not open, probably not here. But we've seen the ball just fly off the bat in that ballpark when the roof's open. But it's not just based on that. It's also based on the fact that we're talking about Chris Bassett against a bunch of lefties. When it comes to left-handed bats, I mean, I think Arizona might be the most dangerous lineup in baseball when it comes to a right-handed starter that struggles with lefties. So this, on paper, should be a nightmare matchup for Chris Bassett. So I like Arizona to score runs. Toast hates Pfaadt, but I kind of think Pfaadt's going to pitch well.
I mean, if you can just, This is no offense to you, Spoon, in any way, shape, or form, but we're talking. You mentioned Fott looking decent against Seattle. He went 5 innings, gave up 10 base runners. That's 2 base runners an inning, and that's a good start for Brandon Fott. So if that's where we're at with Brandon Fott, then so be it. Like I told you, the dude sucks. It would only be Toronto here for me. I'm not like a big Chris Bassett fan at all, but he's been pretty damn good at home. His last 4 starts at home, he got blown up by the Athletics on the 30th, but he went 7 innings strong, 1 run against Philadelphia, 6 innings, no runs against the Padres, and 5 2/3, 7 hits, 1 run against the Rays at home. He also has decent numbers against this Rays lineup. Against this Diamondbacks lineup. I don't really trust this Diamondbacks bullpen at all behind Fott, regardless if they're rested and ready to go. I'm not going to bet it because this number continues to go down. What I've watched it over the last 3.5 hours or so, it's continued to creep down. So I would assume that the Sharps do like Arizona, and you have Toronto coming home from a really long road trip where they went from Minnesota to St. Louis to Philadelphia and now home. Yes, they did have a day off, but that's just not the spot that I want to get myself involved with. So I heavy lean to Toronto. I will not be betting this. Don't bet on Brandon Fott, guys. Friends don't let friends do that.
Toast's hatred for Brandon Fott is insane.
But I have the numbers to back it up, so it's okay.
The numbers coupled with blind hatred.
Hey, tell you what, when he doesn't have an ERA over 5, we'll revisit this conversation. Until then,
I'm betting Arizona.
Wait, is just a blind fade of that or what?
No, I like all those lefties.
That was a blind fade.
No, I like all those lefties against Bassett, and Toronto's cooling, man. I mean, the last 2 weeks, this is a bottom 10 lineup in baseball. It's over. It was an adorable little thing. The Blue Jays hot streak, it's over.
I didn't get there. Just finishing with the over conversation here. Arizona's bullpen always makes me nauseous if you have any sort of lead with them going into the late innings. And as Toast mentioned, Brandon Fott's having a terrible season at this point. So that's a scary, I don't know.
I'm not scared.
You got 110, right?
Plus 110.
All right. Good.
I believe in Fott.
I believe in you getting the best number as well.
Let's go, Fott. Bet placed, plus 110.
Oh, that's going to be a good clip right there. I believe in Fott. Let's go, Fott.
I do believe in Fott. My name's Kyle Kirms for social media. My name's Kyle Kirms, and I believe in Brandon
Should
Fott.
be easy to find me.
And I approve this message. All right, let me share it with the group real quick. Diamondbacks plus 110. This way I don't have to worry about the roof being open. Diamondbacks money line, I just bet, plus 110. Next. Twins, Reds. I bet the Reds here. I know that it's going to be one of the more quote-unquote square, obvious bets. Kind of don't care. Got a significant starting pitching advantage with Andrew Abbott on the mound. The Twins have gotten to lefties a little bit, but nothing to really scare me. The Reds lineup seems to be waking up. They scored, 19 runs in their last 2 games. Not a Festa guy. So I'm getting the Reds at home. Bats seem to be trending in the right direction. Starting pitching advantage. I think I got a minus 116 on this one. Yeah, I mean, we're pulling 87% Reds, 4% Twins. So I would imagine this is probably going to be the most public play on the board. I'm on the Reds, minus 116. Let me just double check. I'm almost positive I got minus 116, though. Minus 116, yeah. So I'm in. Toast?
Twins up. Haven't bet it yet. I want to see what this number does. I would prefer to get a little bit better than plus. I think it's at 105 now, so I don't know if I'm going to get much better than this. But it's just I don't love the spot for Cincinnati, and I haven't bet this yet. But they just played 2 really important series versus Cleveland and Detroit on the road. They come home. Yes, they had a day off. But you're also getting Abbott off of a 9-inning performance where he gave up 3 hits and no runs. He also had a performance like that not too long ago on the road in Chicago. He went 7 innings, gave up 1 run, 8 strikeouts. 1 hit, no runs. Looked fantastic. Comes at home, gets touched up by the Brewers the next start. So I'm just at a point where another 110 pitch performance from Andrew Abbott. Maybe he's not a fully 100%. And I do like David Festa. I think that he's going to be really good in this league. He's just got to get stretched out a little bit more. Not going to get a whole bunch of innings out of him, but this Twins bullpen has been pretty damn good lately. I will take my chances with the world being on the other side in fading this Reds team coming home from this road trip that I don't really like this spot for them. So I'll be on the Twins. I just don't know what number it is, but I will be betting them regardless.
These messages were brought to you by Fake Sharp Incorporated.
Spoon, tell him.
I did that with the Boston game today too.
I gotta be on the Cincinnati side here. I can't find a way to back David Festa. I think this is a guy, if you look at him in his road starts this year, he's gone to one really offensive park, and that's where the Athletics play. It's a AAA park. There's no walls like traditionally that are built up around all the other stadiums at Sutter Health, and I think you're going to be playing in the third most offensive park tomorrow, plus 26% home runs, plus 13% runs projected by Ballpark Pal. It's going to be a nice day. I think we see a repeat of that, and the red bats just kind of go to town. I do see the red flag of coming off that best start of your career with Andrew Abbott, but at the same time, that's the Cleveland team versus a lefty. He just went out there and threw a long bullpen session. He didn't really worry about anything. I think this is Reds or pass, but I haven't bet this yet.
Yeah, I did bet this. Are the Reds bats waking up? In the last 30 days, this is arguably the best lineup in baseball against right-handed pitching. Second in WRC plus, first in OPS, eighth in WRC plus overall in the last 14 days, third in OPS. Reds up.
Feast or famine.
Feast.
It's either 13 or 2.
I might cash this bet with either.
Maybe. That's a little cocky though.
Mets Braves. Man.
Telling me.
This is tough.
I mean, this is the same kind of. It's the same. For me, it's the same type of not in the same, but you have David. I mean, how much do you think David Peterson? How well do you think David Peterson's going to come off of a complete game shutout versus the Nats? Regardless of how the Nats are versus lefties, like I said, it's the same type of scenario like we just talked about. For me, but on the other side, Schwellenbach did pretty much the same thing. He just pitched 9 innings as well. We knew both these teams absolutely hate each other. Like, I just don't know what to expect here. I mean, and there's like. It would only be Atlanta for me here. I know that's absolutely disgusting, but I feel like taking the Mets here at plus 110 or whatever is it. I mean, the Mets are clearly the better team in this situation, and regardless of how Schwelly has looked, those 2 of his last 3 starts. I mean, he really hasn't been that great over his last 6. I mean, Boston, and the Padres. I mean, it's again, he's going 7 innings, but giving up 4 runs. Like, if he does that here today, then I don't think that they win this game. And that's why I say I can't bet Atlanta, but I do feel like it's a little bit of a trap with the Mets getting plus 100. I mean, I do think that they're the much better team. I also feel David Peterson has really, really bad history against this Atlanta team. He faced them last year, gave up 4 runs in 5 innings, faced them twice in 2023 in the same type of situation, and gave up 4 runs in each of those. So obviously it's a completely different Braves team, so it's just really hard to go off of that. It's only the Braves for me. I think this price tells the story. I'm not going to end up betting it, but I do truly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, the price kind of confirms my thoughts on the game. When I first looked at it, I was like, wow, this is a little bit coin flippy. At home in Atlanta, give me the Braves at minus 115. I would price it at like minus 128. That was like my thought. And then I look and they got it at minus 130. Like, shit, market's on top of it. I do think the Braves win the game. I'm not paying minus 130 to see it. I would take the Braves at a pick.
I told myself 115 or better, I'll take them, is what I told myself.
That's what I was looking for. When I first looked at the game, I was like, let me get the Braves at like minus 115. Obviously, that's not possible. It's Braves or pass, but I'm not playing it at this number.
I did for one other thing. Schwelly, fantastic against the Mets in 3 starts last year. 21 innings, carry the 9 hits, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts. Almost, you could say, pretty close to dominant. 7 innings in each one of those starts. So, really good history against this Mets team.
What do you think, Spoon?
I think this is a Mets spot for me. You look at left-handed starters versus the Braves. They've done pretty well of recent. You look at the Mets bats on the road. Their WRC plus is number 2 in baseball over the last 14 days and number 4 in baseball on the full season. Schwellenbach, while he's pitching really good, it's against a bunch of offenses that I don't have that much respect for. Washington got 2 off him. Boston got 4 off him. It's a really broken Boston team that then went and got 0 off him the next time. San Diego their bats weren't hot when they saw him.
No, they were terrible.
San Francisco got 3 off him in a pitcher friendly park in Oracle. I think the Mets can get to Schwellenbach. Peterson, while it is a red flag, he's coming off a 9-inning performance himself. This guy has just exceeded anybody's expectations for him on the season. I don't see any reason that we need to get in front of that at all. This is a Mets spot for me. The line is really fishy. Seems like they're just handing you Mets on a silver platter. I don't see a ton of movement that's taking it off. I think it's going to be pretty hitter friendly there tomorrow. Truist Park, it's muddled at just plus 1% runs, but I don't know. I couldn't get there with Atlanta. I would always rather take the home team in a rivalry situation like this, but every way I look at this is a Mets spot for me. The line's pretty fishy.
I did agree with what you said about the ballpark. Not necessarily about the weather or anything, but I would lean over. I think everyone's taking the under in this one, and you got both pitchers coming off like 9-inning gems here. So I actually think both starting pitchers could get touched up too. I don't think anyone's really expecting that. I wouldn't be surprised if this game's like 4-3 in the third.
5 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah,
in
it's
Atlanta.
beautiful weather,
Dude,
and both. It's beautiful weather, and both pitchers are coming off excellent starts. Not to mention, Mets and Braves, they play some shootouts. So, like, this not uncommon to see that. So, I actually kind of like the over, if I'm being honest.
Wind is blowing in 9 miles an hour from right field.
I'm showing
not a huge effect in this park, but something to note.
I'm showing more like towards third base rather than in, though. But I'm looking at ballpark, pal. But
I have them both pulled up to the side. With wind, I always go for swish. I feel like they're more accurate.
Okay. Yeah,
I wouldn't. I don't. For me personally, with the wind, if it's under 10 miles an hour, like if we're like for this, it's really hard for me to put too much at 6.6. I mean, again, if it was 11 across the board, then maybe I would consider it or worry about it a little bit more. But again, I think that's more of like
that receptive to wind.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's more
it's not one of those parks. I just wanted to mention it because it's almost 10 miles an hour.
I think it's a little bit more of a personal preference too. I think you kind of get a feeling of how it feels with certain parks.
Orioles Rays. Who has the
repeat? You can put it up for me.
Yeah. Who has the nutsack to take Baltimore here? That's going to take a backbone to place that.
You know, somebody in your Discord chat took Baltimore.
Oh,
right?
Is it Charles?
Who?
Did you have to ask, Toast?
Yeah, that's probably Charles.
I do have to ask. There's a bunch of idiots in there. I do have to ask.
Charles and Eric. There's a couple.
Go ahead.
I didn't forget it, right?
Yeah, for me, it's not to mention Zach Littell's been, I mean, absolutely fantastic. I mean, going essentially 6 or 7 innings, giving you 2 or 3 run baseball. 2 starts against this Baltimore team, 3 starts against this Baltimore team last year. Excuse me. I think 16 or 17 innings, like 6 runs or something like that. It was pretty damn decent. So I have nothing. I have nothing to worry about with Littell. Also, Littell at home this year. Milwaukee, his last 4: Milwaukee, Houston, Minnesota, Miami. Giving up 2 to Houston, 2 to Milwaukee, 1 to Miami and Houston in 6+ innings in every single one of those starts. So not to mention you have Crispy Kramer on the road. So yeah, raise money line for me. Anything minus 130 or better, I'm good.
Yeah. Any reason to take Baltimore here, Spoon?
Trying to play devil's advocate. Like, honestly, Tampa Bay is close to my card. This is a spot I really like for them. if you're looking for a way to take Baltimore, it's that Dean Kramer's probably not going to start the game. They're going to put an opener up there to face the lefties at the top of this lineup. Then Kramer's going to come in. He's already seen a couple offensive environments, and he's pitched poorly in some of them, but he's also found the ability to pitch good in some. That athletics field, it gets to all these mediocre pitchers, and I think Steinbrenner plays very similarly, especially on a day where it's really warm. Ballpark Pal has it modeled plus 9% runs, plus 28% home runs. It's going to feel like it's in the 90s. This offensive environment, I don't think Kramer stands a chance. It's Tampa Bay or nothing. There's no way you can get there with Baltimore unless you're just a Baltimore homer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason to play Baltimore would be just to be ultra contrarian here and just fade the world. You got to think anybody who's been following baseball is betting Tampa here. They're red hot. The Orioles are not. Littell's been significantly better than Kramer. The Rays got it done without using bullpen arms today. I mean, I don't really see.
The Rays are winning games, and I'm betting them every day. I mean, what else do you need?
I'll just say overpass. I'm not betting it. Just going to say overpass.
I did bet it, and just so you guys know, I'm going to be betting the Rays every day until I lose twice in a row, just for the record.
Just for the record. Cardinals, White Sox. I didn't even look at this one. Liberatore on the road. Liberatore's been pretty good this year. Spoon, anything here?
In the voice chat, I talked about the under being a live spot for me. I think the White Sox bullpens pitched a little bit better. I think these Cardinals bats on the road are pretty fraudulent. You look at them over the course of the season, they're 24th in baseball, and that's just, it hangs up true all the way through the course of the season, 27th and 23rd over any sample size. I think Shane Smith, he's a good pitcher. If you look at him at home, his numbers are really good. It's a little bit offensive tomorrow. One thing that's going to keep me from probably having a play on this game is it's likely going to rain in Chicago by the time this game is over. And I don't know, it just adds such a big muck in the middle of two teams that I don't really want to be involved with in the first place. So I'm off it, but the under would be my big lean. I think there's a 40% chance of precipitation in the second half of this game.
Well, does it worry you that it seems like if it doesn't rain, that the weather should be decent for scoring runs? Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Plus 8% run index. I feel like that's pretty high for the. Oh, we lost Spoon. Toast. What do you think?
I'm on the same type of situation. I just wanted to stick to the first five under 4.5 minus 120 on FanDuel. Yeah. I don't think that Liberatore is as bad as what has been his last three starts. I also feel like I don't think he was as good as what he was his previous four. So he's given up 5.75 his last three to Texas, Toronto, and Kansas City. But prior to that, 1 run in 7 innings against Arizona, and then goes on the road to Kansas City and Philadelphia, goes 11 innings, only gives up 3 runs, and then gives at home 7 innings, 1 run against Pittsburgh. I'm not in love with this White Sox offense. I mean, I know that they were somewhat decent for like a week's time at the beginning of the month or so, but I mean, ththey've really fallen off. I mean, 1-4, 1-3, 2-5. I mean, their last like 5 or 6 games as far as scoring runs is concerned. So, I mean, as long as Liberatore doesn't get absolutely demolished, I mean, Shane Smith has been fantastic this year. Again, one of these guys that's not going deep into the game, so I understand Spoon's concerns as far as the White Sox bullpen. Or I know that they've been pitching better, like he said, but I get the concern there. But Shane Smith has been going essentially 5 innings and giving up 2 or 3 runs every time he makes a start. And this Cardinals offense has absolutely fallen off a cliff. I mean, keep in mind at this time, I mean, a month ago we were talking about them being one of the hottest teams in baseball, and then since then, they're 14-16 their last 30, 8-12 their last 20, 3-7 their last 10. This team isn't doing anything. They're going to be starting their second road trip on the road, coming off a divisional series against Milwaukee. Like, I just don't feel like this is a spot where the St. Louis Bats show up and get to Shane Smith. So if either of these guys can just give me what I assume is like essentially 2-run baseball, I think we're going to be good through 5 here. So yeah, I like the first 5 under.
I kind of disagree with you guys here.
I didn't bet it.
I kind of think the White Sox might score a couple runs off Liberatore. I mean, I like Liberatore. I've spoken positively about him. Over the course of his career, he has been definitely more reliable at home. That hasn't really been the case this year. But his first couple of years, he was up in the majors. He was definitely a lot better at home in St. Louis. But whatever. Let's throw it out because that hasn't really been the case this year. Look at the White Sox against lefties, man. Last 30 days, this is a top 10 lineup against lefties. Now, granted, not the hugest sample size. But if you look at the lefty starters against the White Sox, they're not getting blanked. 8 base runners, 2 runs off Framber. What?
I was just going to say they've seen 2 of them since
I
the
know.
25th.
I was just going to say, look at the dates. They haven't seen a lot. But, I mean, they've scored 3 runs off Matthew Boyd, got to Lodolo, didn't get to Abbott, didn't get to Bubich, but we're back into early May now.
And nobody's getting to those guys either, so it doesn't really matter.
The White Sox have been hitting lefties, and I know Spoon talked about rain, but it's pretty high up on the run index for this ballpark. This is usually not a great ballpark for scoring runs. So if it doesn't rain, should be decent weather for scoring runs. We'll see. I don't think I could bet it at plus 129, but can I get like a plus 145 anywhere?
I had first 5 circled at plus 120 for them, but I thought that the under was a little bit better. But
I can get a plus 134 on FanDuel right now.
Spoon, finish your thought about the White Sox and their bullpen.
Yeah, cut out in the middle of your sentence.
I think the White Sox bullpen has pitched a lot better over the last 14 days, last 30 days. You look at them, it's not the bullpen that started the season that just was really horrendous. They look like an actual team out there. I didn't have too much. I like an under in this game in some shape.
I ended up not betting that, by the way. I need more. Give me a plus 145. We are still talking about the White Sox here, so. Not to mention, you got the Cardinals. They had the day off. In addition to having the day off, you got to change. Obviously, you have a change of location. They're going to a new city. I don't think the Cardinals' bats are as bad as the recent numbers indicate. So it also could be the time where we see the Cardinals take a step. So, yeah, no bet for me. But I do like the White Sox at that number. Just need a little bit more. Royals, Rangers. Seems pretty affordable for Texas, honestly, right? I know it's Seth Lugo, and I know we don't have a ton of faith in the Rangers' bats, but how could you have any faith in the Royals' bats? You can make an argument that when we're talking about righty versus righty, the Royals lineup has been every bit as bad as Texas, and you know what? The Rangers have even shown signs of life. Yes, I realize they kind of did it all in a couple games there, but still, do you guys trust the Royals to score runs? I certainly don't. Jack Leiter's been pretty solid. I know that the Royals on the road have been significantly better, but you know what? Last 14 days, the Rangers are a top 10 lineup. Yes, I know that they scored 16 in one game. It's dramatically skewing the numbers. I'm aware. But I think this is affordable price for Texas. I didn't bet it, but I was close here. I saw minus 124. I was considering betting the Rangers. Toast?
Yeah, I'll be on the Rangers tomorrow. You know I love me some Jack Leiter day, especially coming off a start where he didn't really look good in Minnesota. But prior to that, he had been on a pretty good stretch there on the road in Tampa Bay, which is not an easy pace to pitch, obviously, in that AAA ballpark with the weather, and he looked really good. At home against St. Louis, on the road at the White Sox, gave up 3 and 7 innings to Houston, and then had a good home start against Colorado. Who cares about that? But I still just feel like we're getting a really good price when being able to fade this Royals team that a lot of people still have faith in for some reason. And we'll start with the Royals. I mean, what do we have faith in this team? They're 34 and 38. They're 10 and 20 their last 30, 6 and 14 their last 22 and 8 their last 10. They haven't played 500 baseball for 45 plus days. So I don't even understand. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this game could be priced at minus 135, minus 140, and I still might take the Rangers because I still feel, and I feel like that's where it should be priced, because I still feel like we're getting value on Seth Lugo that I don't really think he's pitching that good. I mean, on the road, I mean, against the White Sox and Tampa Bay, I mean, it's just really not. He's had like 5 of his last 7 starts have been at home. Like, I just don't really trust this team or trust Seth Lugo on the road. And I don't trust this Royals team in general. And they're also 15 and 19 on the road. So they're not, again, another situation where they're not even playing 500 baseball in this situation. Texas, on the other hand, again, they've been really bad for a while now, but they're 7 and 3 their last 10. They're starting to play really good baseball. I know that series against the White Sox wasn't anything special, but they won all 3 games. Not to mention they get to stay home where they played that White Sox series. This is going to be the first game of a road trip for Kansas City. I will give you that just usually the spot that I kind of want to play on Kansas City after getting just absolutely mollywopped at home. But this team has been so lifeless and regardless for a while now. So the best thing that you can say is that Kansas City is going to have a bullpen advantage. So if this game is close late, maybe they get lucky.
Bro, the Rangers bullpen has been good as shit, though.
I was going to say that, but as soon as I say, yeah. So,
And real quick, before Spoon goes, I want to show you guys something just to give you an idea of how dead this Royals lineup has been. Here are the righty starters that have pitched against Kansas City. Severino pitched into the 8th. And take note of the names. Severino, he's pretty solid. Will Warren pitched a shutout into the 6th inning, just 5 base runners. Clark Schmidt, old Schmitty, 6 shutout innings. Now they got to Bryce Wilson, didn't get to Adrian freaking Hauser. Bryce Wilson again, this was out of the bullpen, I believe. Didn't get to Davis Martin. So Royals not getting to righty starters, and these are not all-stars here. And I know you're thinking, well, Kyle, the Rangers aren't getting to righty starters either. Well, hold on. Actually, we're starting to see some life. Here are the righty starters that have pitched against the Rangers. 10 base runners against Savali. 10 base runners against Hauser. 12 base runners, 7 runs against Bailey Ober. That might be an all-star. Crush Simeon Wood Richardson. All right, he's not very good. So, yes, the Rangers lineup is showing signs of life. I'm not sitting here saying I trust the Rangers bats implicitly, but you put the Rangers bats against the Royals bats, and I'll take Texas right now. What do you think, Spoon?
Yeah, one thing nobody mentioned yet is Seth Lugo has worse numbers versus the left-handed bats, and Josh Smith is one of the hottest bats in baseball right now. He's leading off for Texas. He will be tomorrow, and that gets paired with their other best bat, Corey Seager. Evan Carter, a good lefty in his own right, and Yono Heim's probably going to be the catcher there who will be able to hit from the left-hand side. I really agree with you guys. I think these Texas bats match up well against Lugo here today. My concern still lies a little with the Texas bullpen while they've been pitching well. Years past, some of the same arms are there. I don't necessarily know how much I trust them, but I think I can probably get to the ticket window with Texas tomorrow.
Is it still? Can you still get that minus 124?
Yeah, on FanDuel.
Screw it.
Pretty soft.
I'm doing it.
That's what I just did.
And that's been I know this because I was just talking to Spoon with this, about this like 2 hours ago. I've been the most profitable on FanDuel, kind of by far this year. So I'm doing it.
Probably going to have to tell you guys right now. Coming off a 3-0 day, I don't want to move off too quick.
Been there, done that.
Rangers money line minus 124. I'm in.
Oh no.
What's wrong?
I'm just kidding.
So you're not in Alaska right now, Toast?
That would be correct. I'm in the state of Washington, Spokane, Washington.
Oh, you're in Spokane. When do you go to LA or San Diego, wherever the hell you're on?
LA for a couple of days, San Diego for a couple of days. On Wednesday.
All right, Brewers Cubs.
Spoon, take it away.
I can't. Oh yeah, that's right. We got Spoon. So Spoon, before you go, real quick, I kind of wanted to blind taking over, wind blowing out at Wrigley. But go ahead, Cubs fan, tell us what's up.
All right, so Ben Brown, I think you guys have heard me talk about him a couple times now. He's one of my least favorite Cubs pitchers. He only has 2 pitches. It's a fastball with a curve, so they look nothing alike. It allows batters to kind of really gear up on whichever one they'd rather choose. One thing I'd like to note here, Ben Brown's best start of his career was against this Milwaukee lineup last year. He went 7 innings, no earned runs. And there's a lot of leftovers from that lineup right here tomorrow. Also on top of this, the Chicago Cubs manager used to manage the Milwaukee Brewers. If it's ever a chip on your shoulder kind of game, you can say it for players, but for a manager, I think it's more true than ever. And he has the ability to pull the strings. I think he's going to look at this spot here tomorrow with Chad Patrick on the mound. He hasn't seen the Cubs yet, but I think the bats match up pretty well against him. I also think the Cubs probably are going to hide Brown behind an opener, and all this sets up for me to take the Cubs. I haven't gone to the ticket window with it yet. I wasn't really planning on hopping on the show tonight, so I didn't have all my bets in. I was going to kind of react to some market stuff, but I'd probably build a Cubs -1, trying to look at the line right now to get the juice down. What is it? -145, I think I see. So yeah, Cubs -1. You could probably get it down like -118 to -108, somewhere in that range. That's what I would do.
I put the Cubs up for myself also. I know the Cubs bats are trending in the wrong direction, but this Brewers team, I mean, this has been one of the worst lineups in baseball in the last 2 weeks against righties. And I swear, I feel like people have short memory when it comes to the Brewers. They score like 8 one game, and then people forget how cold that lineup is. So here's the problem. I said before, you got wind blowing out at Wrigley. It's supposed to be a decent day here. I really don't know. This feels like such a coin flip game. I think the Cubs win. Like Spoon said, -150. I'm not paying that. He mentioned take the Cubs -1 for -118 or whatever, maybe, but I'm not going to do that either. I think the Cubs score some runs in this game off of Chad Patrick. What do you think, Toast?
Over 9, -110. I think this probably ends up closing closer to our 9.5 personally. Ben Brown's terrible, like Spoon said. Not to mention the fact that he also didn't. He's had 2 starts against this Brewer team, one last year and another really good one this year. So this is going to be the second time the Brewers have seen him. I have a hard time believing that he blanks them 3 times in a row. Not to mention the fact that Ben Brown hasn't really been like that great at home over his last 7 starts. Only 2 of them at home versus Miami and San Francisco. Obviously, both lineups that aren't really good, especially San Francisco on the road. And yes, I'm not like in love with this Milwaukee lineup, but I do think that Ben Brown is that bad. So that kind of negates it for me. Not to mention we have fantastic weather. And then Chad Patrick, kind of like the same thing. I mean, in a way, like another guy that don't really trust him on the road, but over his last 7 starts, only 2 of them on the road. So, and now you're getting a Cubs team that, yeah, they didn't really look good against Pittsburgh, but it was kind of like not great weather either. There was a lot of those games where the wind was blowing in and people were just betting unders. Now this is the exact opposite. So I have a hard time believing that both teams don't put runs on the board here today. Yeah, I played over 9.
Yeah, I put over up for me too. I like the over. I like the Cubs. Someone said rain might ruin the over. Is there supposed to be rain in Chicago tomorrow?
I was going to say the same rain that's going to affect the Chicago White Sox game is going to be here at the same time.
Yeah, that's the same city. I guess I should have figured that one out. So yeah, possible rain. Not betting that one.
I have a question, Spoon. Does it ever happen where it's like decent at Comerica and shitty at Wrigley?
So the way the wind affects the parks is completely different.
Because of the water,
because
right?
of the way they're positioned in the city. I'm not a Chicago native or anything, but
okay.
it is. It does happen there. I think you'll find that White Sox field generally plays more offensively than what the Wrigley does, unless the wind is absolutely whipping.
So, Toast, you can take your stupid victory lap.
Well, I'd love to. Play the song! Push the button!
Yeah,
Push it!
I did. To be fair, someone in the comments requested it for his Red Sox money line bet. I believe both Trevor and Spoon all said, yeah, Trevor took Red Sox and Spoon said Red Sox might be live. So I think I was the only one leaning towards the Seattle side. So now I like what Adam's Digest was sharing in the voice chat tonight. He was talking about the Red Sox numbers against right-handed pitching this year if you take Devers out of the lineup, because obviously he's not there anymore, and they would actually be, I believe it was 27th, he said. So the Red Sox without Devers, the rest of the remaining bats this year, they'd be one of the worst lineups in baseball against right-handed pitching. So Red Sox offense, that might be a big hit without Devers. I know that's not much of a hot take, but I know you win a baseball game, people kind of, they're playing with energy without Devers. They had 4 hits in the game. So let's not throw them a parade here. Does Woo blank them?
Stats lie, Sauce. That's one of those spots right there where that's a lineup that's subtracted a starting bat that's one of their best bats, and then compared to the other 29 lineups in the league that didn't get their best bat subtracted.
That's very
You're also
fair.
going to be having a 9th bat added in there that would have production right now.
Well, no, I think he included the person. I think he included the person that would be starting. Like the current 9, I think he did. Well, we'll ask him tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure he was saying the current starting 9.
We make stats say what we want them to, though.
It's fair.
Fair.
Still thought it was an interesting point.
I think this is just an under with these two pitchers in this park. Brian Wu, I think he is a guy that's going to get touched when he's outside of T-Mobile. I think when he's able to pitch here, he gets in a comfort zone. I think this Boston lineup is weak. I don't know if they're 27th in baseball versus right-hand pitching weak, but I also think that Buehler can just knock down this lineup. There's only 3 bats you got to worry about with Seattle. Outside of that, it's probably the 30th ranked offense in baseball. So this would be an under for me. I didn't bet it.
I mean, Walker Buehler did look pretty serviceable in his last start. What do you think, Toast?
Same thing. First 5 under 4.5 minus 120 for me. I know that Brian Wu didn't really look good in his last 2 home starts, but I mean, historically in his career, he's been, dominant almost in Petco Park. Safeco Field, excuse me. I don't know what they call it now. It's T-Mobile, sorry. But regardless, and the one thing with Brian Wu is lefties. You have to worry about the lefties, and that's Roman Anthony, Duran, and Marcel Meyer. 3 of those kids. I mean, obviously, I know that Anthony hit a home run today, but that was against Logan Gilbert, who had been pitching against AAA arms for a while. I just don't put too much into that. I'm very happy that I got the Boston win, but I do agree with Sots. It was a little bit fugazi. It probably looked better than it really was. But and then on the other side, I do think that Walker Buehler is able to pitch well here. I agree with Spoon. I don't really trust this Seattle offense at all. I think it's kind of one of those. I know they say this a lot, but feast or famine. But I mean, I think that Cleveland series was kind of a mirage. I mean, they didn't really score any runs against Arizona. It was kind of hit or miss against the Angels as well. I'm just really not there with the Seattle offense. So get 4.5, which I think that, to answer your question, yeah, I do think that Brian Wu can blank the Red Sox after tonight. So if I can count on, let's just say 5 innings of 1-run baseball for Brian Wu, as long as Walker Buehler doesn't just absolutely destroy it, I think this first 5 under is a good bet. So yeah, first 5 under 4.5 minus 120.
Man, I don't know. I think the Mariners win, but minus 182 is freaking crazy.
I agree.
I can't even do that. I guess
you know
I
what's
agree
gross?
with the under.
Is it the next game up? Yeah, it is. I was actually thinking about pairing Seattle with San Francisco. I'm not going to, but I don't think either one of those teams lose.
No, I mean, Seattle at minus 182 is just a bad bet. I don't care who you pair
I agree.
with.
That's what I'm saying. I was in my head, though, for the audience, I was trying to find a couple of teams that I didn't think would lose tomorrow. Seattle and this San Francisco was on the list.
True or false? Guards hit Robbie Ray. Spoon?
Absolutely false. That's that was a trick question. I thought you were gonna throw something at me there. I don't understand any way Cleveland hits Robbie Ray tomorrow. This is a guy that's having a career season. He's pitching in a pitcher-friendly environment. If you see the wind whipping out and you're worried about that, don't be. It doesn't affect this at all. Like the way it swirls at night here, it's just going to push the ball back in, the lake effect and everything. Cleveland we're talking, this is the 29th lineup versus on the road in the last 30 days versus lefties. You can't find one they've touched outside of Nick Lodolo in that last start. And I'm just going to say that's an outlier. I think this is just a San Francisco spot. This is a -1 spot. I don't pay the juice on this, and I don't lay the -1.5 in a total that's just telling you there's going to be 7 runs. This is a -1. I really like that. Can't tell you the odds on it at the moment. Maybe I can.
Do you find a -1 odds, Toast? You happen to have that up? They're not
No,
always easy
I laid
to find.
As soon as I got off
it's
the plane,
-114 Giants right on DraftKings right now.
I've already fully bet the Giants, so I'm on like 1.25 units on Giants money line -160 here. I'm getting one of the best home teams in baseball, Giants 22-11 at home with a starter on the mound coming off of a terrible performance in Colorado. I think that he bounces back. I mean, before that start, Robbie Ray had been absolutely dealing at home or on the road We know this this Cleveland team can't hit left-handed pitching to save their life. San Francisco's bullpen has been absolutely fantastic. San Francisco lost 2 of their 3 games in Dodger Stadium this weekend, scoring 15 runs. I have a very good feeling that San Francisco wins this game comfortably. And oh, by the way, I think didn't San Francisco pick up a new hitter or something like that? It's pretty decent. I don't know. I can't think of his name, but they should have that guy in the lineup as well. That helps a lot. So San Francisco on the money line -160, full 1.25 units.
I don't disagree that I think San Francisco scores. I think 7's way too low. I know how is Cleveland going to score, but I really have questions about the strength of competition here for Robbie Ray. The Padres in the middle of their slump, by the way. If you remember, they weren't doing shit against anybody in early June. The Rockies, the Marlins, the Nationals, one of the worst lineups in baseball against lefties. The Royals. I mean, this dude is pitching against nobodies. Who's next? The Portland Sea Dogs? Like, this dude
that's literally what you should name the Cleveland team if you want to call it. That's the Portland Sea Dogs versus lefties right now.
I think they snapped out of it.
Put Cleveland up then.
I just bet the -114 line on DK.
You should try it on.
I might glance at a Cleveland team total over.
No, I want to see what it is. I got me thinking.
2.5 -150. 3.5 +120. I just like the over, dude.
I don't.
I like the over.
I mean, I guess if I'm
betting the over. I don't care what you're about to say.
it wasn't anything to you not to bet the over. I was just going to say, if you're going to bet the over and you think that Cleveland's going to score, I would at least put a little bit of money on Cleveland to win the game, because with this
I also really I like San Francisco to score. I trust this lineup way more at home than I do on the road.
Yeah.
I know they haven't been very good at home recently, but now you're going to get a questionable righty in Slade Ciccone. I don't think Slade Ciccone's a blind fade or anything, but you get a questionable righty in Slade Ciccone. You add one of the most dangerous lefty bats in the game. What was San Francisco lacking? Like a big lefty bat. He's like the perfect piece.
Yeah.
He's like literally, if you were a Giants fan, it'd be like, yo, who's the perfect piece for our lineup? It would be like Devers, Juan Soto, like a big,
he has to bring
powerful
the club,
lefty.
though. They need a third baseman.
For now.
Devers, obviously, you had the situation there in the field with Boston. How much of a reality is it that Devers is a liability in the field? Or how much is it based on bullshit?
I think it's a lot of bullshit. I think he'd be
I've
fine.
seen him make some smooth plays in the field. I personally thought he was all right.
He's not Matt Chapman, but again, I think it was more of a relationship thing in Boston than anything.
Right.
Again, I don't know. I mean, but I don't believe that he got mad that Christian Campbell was taking reps at first base, and then that's the reason. I mean, like, I feel like that's just out of left field. I mean, keep in mind, they won that game on Sunday before he got traded, and he said everything was in the past. He can't wait to move on, yada, yada, yada. And he was traded 4 hours later. So it just doesn't make
such weird timing.
Turns out it was not in the past. So that was actually the someone said, Kyle, do you like who do I like NHL? Oh no, I'm not really a hockey guy. Houston, Athletics, and Dodgers, Padres. We don't have lines for either. So if you guys have any thoughts on either of them, or we could just close it up.
Houston, Oakland is the biggest pass I could possibly have in my life. And as far as San Diego, LA Dodgers, Randy's on the mound. You know the question, the answer: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dodgers team total over, or the Dodgers, however you like it.
Any thoughts on either of these games, real quick, Spoon?
Without the pitchers in that first Astros Athletics game, I don't have thoughts on it. But the Padres Dodgers here, I think this is a spot. I was on the over tonight. I thought we got some added value with Ohtani on the mound. I think I want to go right back to it. Toast just mentioned it. Vasquez obviously is going to struggle with this LA Dodgers lineup. I don't think LA has a starter ready to put into this spot. Toast, do you have any
I'm pretty
predictions
sure
or
they're going
bullpen?
to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. I think it's going to be Sour in long relief, and then they're going to go from there because didn't Banda start today? If I read that right. Sorry, I got to find my notes now, but I'm pretty
He
sure.
came in relief of Ohtani.
Ohtani, right? Yeah, and they didn't use Sour. That's how I wrote it down. Okay, yeah, they used everybody, but they're 2 long relievers. So I think you're going to see Sour and Robleski for the bulk, at least the first 5 innings, and then kind of see where we're at from there. So if they touch up Randy Vasquez, then they can probably keep both of those guys in for a couple extra innings, and then just kind of piece it together at the end. So, but I mean, everybody. I mean, yeah.
I expect probably a 9.
I expect
on the board
runs
or
as
so.
well. By the way, it's just easier to say. I expect runs as well.
I would take that over.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see where it might open at 10.5. We
Exactly.
got to see what that over is. Spoon, where can they find your stuff?
You can find my stuff on X at Spoons Bets. It's right under my name tag there, and you can find me over at Pup Sports Radio. Do a couple shows over there a week with my friend Jimmy the Bag. He does an afternoon show if you're missing out on one.
Cool. Yeah, Spoon is also, you'll hear his voice in the voice chat as well. Everyone, betting league stuff. Give me about 20 minutes or so, and I'll get that up. New betting league started this week, so I'll get all the standings posted. Tomorrow, Toast is with us tomorrow, but Spoon is actually filling in for the second half of this week. So it'll be me, Spoon, and Trevor on Wednesday and Thursday. And Saturday morning, I think it'll be me, Spoon, and Legeza. So I think that's what we're rolling with.
Oh, no. I'll be there Saturday morning. There's no games on Saturday morning.
Oh, you're in Saturday. Okay,
Yeah.
so Spoon, never mind. I don't need you Saturday morning, but I do need you Wednesday and Thursday night if you can make that work.
Yep, we can do that.
Cool. All right, everyone, hit me up if you need me. I'll be up for a little while. See you all tomorrow. Remember